the only reason comes from we don't met the true farmer. So after knowing the fact that all the inferior complex or superior complex was gone. So at that time, I had a strange experience. Whomever I met, I don't have any such complex anymore. And my point of view was completely changed. So from that time on, whoever I met, or even when I teach the student, there is no difference among the student. They are just like the soil to me. And if I sow the good seed to them, and then they will produce the good crops. So all because of that, all the judgment was gone. So if we truly enter into the a larger space, there is no barrier anymore. So I'm completely agree with this idea, and we don't have to envy the others' land or territory anymore, because what God gave me, what God has allowed me to have, is really large enough. So it's so best. So there is we don't have time to visit all your territory. That means as time goes by, we met more people, more and more people. So I don't care about the others' territory or others' land, and I always feel grateful to my own territory. So anyway, something like that. So
Shall I continue
Misha?
read?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Page 30. In the church, we eat and grow. As we continue to eat and grow, winning means to keep growing. In order to have the strength to grow up, we need to have a lot of food. Growing up is our first priority in church life. Oh, that's too bad. As we face serious difficulties or hardships, we need to digest them so we can become stronger. We prefer to avoid trouble. We want everything to be peaceful and calm. But since we live on the earth and in the church, there are always problems. With life on earth, we'll always have problems, but growth and maturity can be achieved quickly under negative situations. Trees grow in negative situations. If the trees overcome the negative environment, they'll become a huge tree. But if they will fail, the tree would become withered and finally die. When we overcome and digest a negative situation, we can grow up and win, but in a good situation, we cannot become winners. All environments and situations are appropriate for us to grow up if we are spiritually enlightened. Everything becomes positive. So if we realize that even in bad situations, God had placed me there so I can grow up and be equipped with a certain character. If we have this eye-opening experience, our life will become very successful. But even in this negative situation, if they receive an eye-opening experience, they can become mature and rise up to God's throne in heaven. Without the grace of God, we cannot be enlightened or receive an eye-opening experience. Shall I keep on?
Maybe it's the same paragraph.
Yeah, I think it's the same thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we receive this enlightenment, we then realize that this is a very appropriate situation. Hi. If we are sitting at the dining table with delicious food in front of us, but we don't have a strong appetite, then it doesn't look very delicious. If we have a strong appetite, but the food may not be very good, it still looks delicious. Which situation do you think is better? One has no appetite, but there's plenty of delicious food, or where the person has a strong appetite and the food may not be very good? Which one do you think is luckier? I would choose the latter.
It's,
Continue.
it's so long.
Now
Right?
is what page? What page?
Page 31.
Oh,
We are now on 32.
31.
31.
Yeah.
31. Okay.
It does seem like it's the same theme. Why don't you go ahead and finish up that paragraph and then we'll discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I would rather have a strong appetite and stomach, even if the food may not be very good. I agree with this. I want to be a man like the second person. A true blessing would be to have a strong appetite or stomach no matter what type of food may be in front of us. I wish for all of us to have strong spiritual stomachs and strong appetite, whatever God may give us. I hope we become spiritual mature and be able to digest everything easily, and then we can give thanks to God daily. God may give us negative situations, but He has His reasons which are very appropriate. I may think my environment isn't appropriate for me, but God says this is the most appropriate environment for you. We are not bright-eyed people, but God has extremely bright eyes. Yeah.
So, Michelle, give your ideas. So,
To me, it seems like we really need, in order for one to be strong, it is necessary that he must overcome troubles and trials. An ordinary man may think that people who grew up in a poor background may have harder life than those who grew up with good money, but to each have their own situation, and everything is unique, as long as because in both scenarios they still have their own obstacles to face. So it is really needed, whether a poor man or a rich man, to overcome that obstacle in front of him so that he can become more mature. I think that's what I got from this from those paragraphs.
liberally, in this message that under under bad environment, our life can grow and mature. And I think it's only possible for a man who listen to the words of God. Without the words of God, harsh environment is just harsh. And the more people had a harsh environment, I think the worse our character will be through the harsh environment. But only the person's case who listen to the words of God, because God, when we encounter such an environment, maybe at the moment we don't know why I had to encounter such an environment, but there is a life already eaten for such a long time. In my case, when I had some kind of accident for about 2 months, I had to be in the hospital. So I've never had any chance to listen to the Lebanese message, because at that time there is no internet or no no cellular phone, something like that. But strange enough, there is a life, because we keep listening to the words of God. The words is the life. The words of God contains the life. So there is a life inside me. And when we face urgent situation, that life govern the whole things. That life govern my thought, my emotion, and my worries, everything. So that's why the life, when God first created us, He said that govern and rule over all the creatures. So if we are in our proper place, appropriate position, then the life of Christ will rule over the everything. So so that's why when we face serious difficulties or hardship, we can digest that situation, and those hard environment make us grow and mature in our life. So last week, Pastor Kim said that what really matters is not we have some kind of we had to no we pass through some kind of environment, but what really matters is not what kind of environment. No, the environment is not important. The real what really matters is when you listen to the words of God, the words becomes the light. So even though we sometimes we pass through the harsh environment, but with the words of God, we can interpret those things differently. We can turn those harsh environment into blessing with the words of God. So in that case, the environment is not matter. It's not a big deal. So the words of God is just like a light. So anyway, it's hard to explain in English. I had some kind of thought, but anyway, it's a little difficult for me to explain in English. But all environment and situation are appropriate for me to grow up. I'm completely agree with this idea, because it becomes my experience.
Right.
When, when I was young, I think that it is the blessed when I have no difficulties in my life. Uh, my before marriage, my only hope is to have a good wife and have a good family and no difficulties. That's my hope and my wishes at the moment, at the time. But in after meeting this church, I found that God, what God really wants from me, what God really wants from me. I think that if it is He wants to for me to have a good life, happy life. That is His purpose. And when before meeting this church, I think it is His purpose. His purpose that I have a happy life. Eh? So always He support me my life, and He always support me to succeed something in my life, and He always support me to have a good family because He is my side. I don't think I am His side. So that means that in Korean film, very famous Korean film, God is the something who behind me always helping me. God is the something. God is the someone who support me behind me, even though He is hidden, but He support me always. And I also see the illustration, which is that God, God, what is that? The baby, the backside, and God, I'm a God, and this way, God carries
Piggyback.
me always like this, huh?
Piggyback.
Piggyback, okay. Piggyback, okay. So God, even it is not support, it is not hidden, it is not visible, but God always support me. It is a message that what is that? What is that? I think only I focus on my purpose in my life. What is useless if there is my purpose in my life? Only God's purpose is in my life, then what's use? What is useful? I mean, so after meeting this church, I found that there is His goal, His purpose. It is very far from my purpose. He is not the one who cares my dream, my desire. He only cares His desire, His hope in my whole life. But it is, but after knowing this, I'm very, how can I say, I'm very settled down because I really found that his desire is greater than my desire. So I don't need to do my effort to make something because He will make something and He will use me. Before meeting this church, I always, very busy to want me to be used for Him. But after this meeting church, I don't need to anymore to pray, for Him. Please use me. It is not needed anymore because God's desire is greater than mine. So I don't need to pray, because He nearly wants to use me in His plan. Then He will use me. So his desire is greater than mine. Is make me very calm down in my life. So I enjoy my life. I do my best, to do something in my life because I know if He wants to something, then He will probably use my whole life in His plan. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, good. Good testimony. Thank you, Jajin. After listening to Jajin's testimony, I want to add one more thing. When I first listened to the God's desire, it really makes me so moved. I always think that I have my own desire, but God's desire is bigger and holier than mine. So after knowing God's desire, I just lay down my desire and my plan or my thought, because He has a concrete purpose toward me and toward man. So He will finally lead me to His own purpose. That really makes me comfortable and just lay down myself and just wait. I just stay at my place. If He needs me, then He will use me. If He don't need me, He won't use me. It's not my business. It's His business. So it's good to. I'm always happy to listen to the God's desire. God has more stronger desire than mine. It's good, good to good testimony.
I have a suggestion. For each paragraph that we discuss, since there are several people on this call, what if we limit our personal comments to one time until at least everybody else has had an opportunity to share their thoughts?
Yeah.
If we want to come in a second time at the end of that, then okay. So it seems that Jubek and Omi may be out there. And
I'm here, but okay. Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Because my computer sometimes, does not work, so I could listen some, or I could not listen some. Anyway, I want to tell you, Haesun, I was really blessed by your testimony in Sarangbang.
My testimony?
Yeah. In
I
Sarangbang.
never gave my testimony to Sarangbang.
Sarangbang. 우점덕. 우점덕. Yeah. I was really blessed. Yeah. Testimony and I was blessed by Jajin testimony. Yeah, God's desire is greater than our desires. So that really makes me calm down to wait and what God is doing for us. So I was very moved and I was very blessed by Jajin testimony and Haesun's testimony in Sarangbang. I was really blessed. So if we really know that God's desire is better than mine, we can calm down and we can wait and see what He's going to do. Okay, and now this morning we are going to I'm going to vaccinated second dose, so maybe I may go a little earlier. So okay,
wow, very nice.
The second dose. Yeah. So okay, thank you so much.
At least we know that you're there, and when you're gone, you're on the way to have that second dosage.
So there's Jubek. Will you go next first, Jubek?
Page 32.
Or just express your opinion? She's not here.
Yeah.
소정, Romy, will you go first?
그 저기 읽을 차례 아니에요? I was involved. 맞아요.
아, 근데 나 돌아가면서 하려고 그러는데 지금
소장님은 켜놓고
딴 데가
하잖아요. 예. 그 제가 읽죠 뭐. I was involved in big argument and religious conflict when I was young. God put me in this situation, and I was surprised to discover the hidden fighting temperament. Inside myself, I discovered an internal reality about myself because of my negative experience. From that time on, I don't trust myself anymore. Now I trust God 100%. If I try to trust myself, I will be destroyed. Since I don't trust myself, I have no other choice but to trust God 100%. When God put me in, we don't fully understand, but in His view, it is the most appropriate environment for us. Why does God put me in my position? Because it's the most appropriate for me. If we trust God, we will be able to confess. He will never put us in a place where we'll be destroyed. He put me into the best position, but the problem is we can't make good use of it because we don't fully understand about that position. If we can't make good use of it, we couldn't be could be destroyed. Millions and millions of people trust Him because they confess that God knows me far better than I know myself. God has put me in more appropriate places than I possibly ever thought. His thoughts and mind are much bigger than mine. That's why our seniors and ancestors trusted him. They understood and received good results. God is trustworthy, and that's why they instilled their belief onto their descendants that they should believe and trust in him. 예, 여기까지 읽으면 되겠죠? 예, 네. And I think that I said that when I know myself, His purpose after meeting this church, my whole life is settled down. No more making effort, making something in my life. And before meeting this church, I nearly want to achieve something. I want to be a missionary, and I want to be used to somewhat greatly, than who else. I nearly want to hope to be used whole my life for Him, but in that thought, I want to be greater. I want to be something, religiously. I want to achieve something which is every religious people envy me, or every religious people respect me. After meeting this church, God has His purpose. I understand fully he has his plan in my life. So no more, I don't need to do my effort in my life, but just to, I became the person who just to wait for his, usage. He's something. I just waiting for his something, in my life. I become the person who wait for his plan, and his plan, his desire in my life. So no more in my life there is no more I'm not busy, I'm busy. No more I'm busy. And no more just I become the person who enjoy my life, not not so much busy, and just enjoy my life, which is given from him. It is all the situation and all the circumstances. It is given for me, and no more. I don't try to make something in my life. So I can enjoy just watching the situation, watching the circumstances, and just enjoy my life. I'm very fully the person who enjoy my life. So thank you, very thank for me, thank God, because meeting this church and making my whole life, for me to enjoy. Yeah, thank you.
I have a question for Georgian. When you had that initial desire to, be somebody in the religious arena, is that something that in the church you were in before was, highly encouraged, or was that just something that came from within?
Because 누나, 그 질문이 왜 제가 그런 생각을 갖게 됐냐는 거죠. 그런 왜 이렇게 my life, 그러니까 왜 높이 쓰이고 막 이런 식의 그런 생각을 갖게 됐냐는 거죠.
Joajan is speaking in tongues.
Oh, yeah, Misha, go ahead.
No, I just joked that Joajan is speaking in tongues.
Because as a matter of fact, I'm telling my English because I always practice my English speaking, not listening. So I have a problem in listening to other people's. So that's why I ask you. I'm understand David's speech right or not. So just I asking, and
David. Yeah. David, will you ask one more time? Because Jajin couldn't understand what you said.
Okay. The feeling that you had that you wanted to be somebody great, you wanted to be an outstanding person in the area of church or
Religion.
be religion, be sharing Christ's message. That feeling, is that something that the church you were in highly encouraged and pushed you towards, or was that something that just you felt more came from within you? The question is, sometimes people are in environments where they're encouraged to go in a certain direction. They're encouraged to be great. They're encouraged to be outstanding. And then some people, it just comes from within them. And so I was just curious, with your background, how much of that was encouraged, how much of that was just Georgian.
I mean, I think that it's a kind of very basic desire in human being, to be great. In even it is how can I say business world, or even in its the religious world, and every word they want to be something, in my life. It's a basic hope and basic desire. And so even in the religious, in Korea, especially, I think that it's a Korea is very developed, very developed so much within very short time. So everything is focused on economy, and everything focused on efficiency. Everything is focused on, how can I say, success. So but there is nobody, who say there is a something in your life. The kind of things, because we all Korean people, they are very hard to achieve something. That's why the result of that, the Korean economy is developed so much within very short time. And the matter is in every field, they in diligence field, the church, the business field, everybody want to do something. They don't concentrate on their mind. They don't concentrate on their maturity in the life. They only focus the progress and developing, and they focus on something larger and success, that kind of thing only focus. So they don't care about, but after meeting this church, I found, I know that his desire, I understand his desire. So that's why no more need to hurry, because no more need to hurry. Before meeting this church, I think that it's for him. It's all my effort, all my doing my effort is for him. I believe, but I don't know the hidden desire in me to be great and make other people respect me, about my achievement, religious achievement or business achievement, everything. I don't understand my desire. But after meeting this church, I found myself, I'm the person who don't care God's desire. And before meeting this church, I think that I only focus my desire, and my desire is God's desire, I believe. But after meeting this church, I found that I not the person who cares God's desire. Only I'm the person who cares my desire. So after meeting this church, I become the person, and then after meeting this church, I stopped everything, for me to do something in my life. And just I stopped in my life, not doing anything in my life. I just waiting, and just I enjoying. I just watching, So now I don't know how God guide me, but I think that I don't want to, go further, go forward than God. I mean, I want to be the one who before God, and who, I just follow him. He wants to move my life, then I will, I will follow him. I want to, go forward. I don't want to frontier, you know. I just follow him. So whole my life, my life is I'm very settled down, and now I'm. Other people think that when you are young, you are very ambitious, but now what you are doing, I say nothing. Just I'm staying in the family. But I think that, comparing at the moment, I'm the person who is more fit for God's desire.
Mm.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi,
Mm.
I think it's about time for Jajin to come into his action. I think it's God calling him to come into action. It's like I'm just waiting for God to call me, right? So, because I work at a kindergarten and I have like teachers coming from the United States and South Africa, and one of the teachers told me just today, like because they come, like overseas and they're working here and they're all by themselves, and they were like, I don't know what to cook for dinner, and I would love someone to invite me over for dinner, and I would like to spend some time with them. And they were like, how come no Korean teachers at our school never, like they never invite us over for dinner? Not to talk about inviting them over for the weekend or whatsoever. So I was like, I was there. I had my excuses because I live in a really dodgy place. I live in a really tiny, tiny, tiny place. I can't, you know, picture myself inviting people over to my place. Not to mention that I'm a terrible cook. I have never cooked for even for my husband. But like what they expect, I mean, like I'm not saying what they expect, but they were saying like, like it would really appreciate. I mean, like I would really appreciate if we had someone, a true Korean friend, who would invite us over for dinner or for some meal, you know. Well, like, we at our church we talk about how God loves us, and we talk about, we find peace at a, like, we just wait for God to work upon us and stuff. But like I'm right there in the fierce battle. I'm between all these, foreigners surrounded, like all the foreigners surrounded, by me. And I'm like, they want to come over for dinner. I'm like, I'm sorry, my place is so tiny. I'm like, I'm not good at cooking. Like it's David, like speaking from your own culture. Nobody actually like, comes like, I want to visit your house. They never do that, right? Because they know for sure it's impolite. They just wait, like, until somebody would invite them over for dinner in a polite way. I know that. I'm like, here I am talking about God's love, talking about how Daegu Church is so special.
Mm.
But I never invite them over to my place.
Mm.
I mean, like, am I really living the life?
Mm.
I'm in the middle of it, right? I'm in the middle of it. All they want is a really nice supper, and they don't have time to cook for them because they know that it'll go waste. Like, what's the use of cooking rice if you don't end up eating? You have only one. What's the use of cooking, buying all the different ingredients and all this, thing, and like you know that it'll go waste. I'm there, but I never invited them over for dinner.
Mm.
I'm like, what's this? Why are we having this English fellowship? What's the use? Why? For who? For what? Right? David, you have your wife, Ruth, who really takes good care of you. The only reason you participate is because of your wife, because you know how much she's sacrificed. You know the suffering or whatever. That's why you're here. I'm like, why am I here? I'm talking about myself. I mean, why am I here? Maybe I would rather be, I mean, like, of course, like, according to Jajin, I cannot cook. I mean, like, he says, like, he's enjoying his freedom, he's enjoying the way he is. Okay, that's why I'm doing this, right? I think maybe I'm mature enough to invite them over. Maybe I have the power now. Maybe I have the strength now to invite them over, because I've never had this thought before. But all of a sudden, like, I'm like, what are we doing here? We're not doing anything for the foreigners. Why are we having this whole thing? They want someone inviting them over. They want someone to take care of them. I mean, I think it's my fault, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, that's sorry.
As you were talking, I was thinking of the paragraph that we read at the very beginning, where Reverend Lee is talking about food and whether it tastes good or not, or whether the appetite is good or not. And it sounds like your friends definitely have an appetite, and I suspect it's it's as much for the social friendship part, if not more, than for the food. So, I wouldn't worry about your cooking skills, too much. And even if something is very simple, just the opportunity to
Yeah, I think for
share.
me, like, just, yeah, based on what you said, I think it's for me to take the first step. I will, like, invite them over for dinner. It might be terrible, but I don't care. I would just invite them over and do as much as I can. And I want to, like, for our church people to, like, we know we enjoy and we're so happy with our lives. Sometimes I feel like we don't want to do more than, like, we're like, oh, we're so happy, I'm happy. So then what? Then what? Okay, we're in the swimming pool, we're happy, so happy, and, like, nobody can get in, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, maybe I have an eye-opening kind of, sort of, like, spur of the moment kind of, enlightenment in me. I'm like, I don't know how much I can do, but, like, maybe I can invite them over, and, like, maybe they would hate it, and maybe they would not even want to, you know, accept their church. I don't know, but, like, I mean, like, the, like, the, what do you call, the foreigners working in Korea. They came
Oh,
down. I
we're
don't
losing
know.
you.
Why would you wanna, like, go through that and come over to Korea? Why would you go through that hard? I have, like, a mental status, like, I wanna learn. I wanna from experiencing something different from my, usual or comfortable life. I want something different. But I'm like, here, I mean, like, we're in the really good fishing pool, right? I mean, like, they're poor in spirit in the first place. We gotta be proactive. I mean, we cannot be sitting here like, I'm happy with my life. I'm like, then what? Then what? I mean, like, what about the people out there? What do we do with them? I don't know. I mean, like, it's my first time, actually. My teacher suggested, like, I want to cook, but I cannot cook because, like, I would be wasting my rice and stuff. And she was like, I would rather, have someone inviting me over for dinner, and maybe we can cook together and stuff. I mean, like, that's what we need to do. I know Hesun 언니 and Jubei 언니, whoever is here, they literally share the life. I mean, nobody's willing to share the life anymore. I mean, what's the use of They go to church. If they don't want to risk their life, nobody wants to do that here. They're so rich. They're just happy. I have everything. I'm just waiting for God to come along. Okay. So what? Maybe never. I don't know. I'm sorry, but that's what I want to say.
Jude, will you express your idea? We cannot hear you.
Sojong, let me ask you something. Are you drunk?
Huge words from Romy.
Are you
Why?
drunk?
Or why do you say that?
Because you speak so frankly.
Really?
Oh.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, why are we having this English fellowship? What's the use? I mean, I don't want to this fellowship. Why? I can communicate even better with, speaking to my Korean fellow. Why are we doing this in the first place? For who? I mean, that nobody's willing to sacrifice for the people.
But I believe in your future. Okay. As far as I know, I enjoy talking in English, and also, and I believe in near future, David and Michelle is going to invite us. And as you earlier said, there is no boundary. Through the Skype, I don't feel any boundary because the distance doesn't matter. And even my mother-in-law just passed, but I still feel connected. But even there are some people who are still alive. I don't feel connected. So that's why. So I don't want to feel connected. I want to feel connected, and I want to feel at one. You only talked about no frames, no boundaries. I can be myself. Ego can be my frames, and each of us has frames. Yeah, but even we still have our egos, frames. God displayed each of us as like the art in the exhibition. So last Sunday, I heard a sister's testimony. When I listened to her testimony, I didn't really listen to her. Just her condition, her environment. Say, I just see how hard she might be. So that's the people. Anyway, I didn't really listen to her until last Sunday, and then, but last Sunday, I see myself in her. We talk about we need to find ourselves in Christ, but we don't know Christ because Christ cannot be seen. But I could see her. I could see that church sister just standing in front of me in public, giving her testimony. In her testimony, I see myself. She is a living being, and I see myself in her. So that common ground, can be called destiny or can be called Christ. So that common ground, I think that is where we can be connected or see ourselves as one. So if there's anything else added, I don't see it. So no frames. If there is no frames, there is no boundaries. But I'd like to say, so that's why I don't need to go up in the space to see there is no boundary. In church, as listening to, it can be you too, it can be me. As listening to each other's testimonies, that testimony is like just the same, that is just the same, or your daily life. So that testimony is testimony is saying, God is working on me. So in that spot, I don't see any boundaries. I don't feel my frames blocks anything. I feel as one. When I feel as one with somebody else, that is amazing. It doesn't need to last. If it is just for a second, when I see myself in other people, I feel connected, and I don't feel alone or afraid. So I think that where that spot is, let's say, anyway, when there is no frames, there's no boundaries. The frames, I just before I met this message, I tried to make the frames harder and stronger. So that keeps the other people away from me. So I don't need to anymore, because all my shames are exposed. All my fears is revealed. So I have nothing to hide. And so I don't need to keep myself inside a frame, because God is doing that to form His body. So, and also when I've studied microbiology, so even we are in this body, inside the body there are cells. The smallest unit is cells. It has the wall, and also in the body there are organs. They don't need to be the same. They just need to be what they are, but still working with one life. So in church, we don't have to be the same, and we shouldn't be the same. But the life flows, and our body functions. So I sometimes feel, even in the church, they want me put in the frame, those things. And just when life flows, each of the part of the bodies works, functions as it is. So that amazes me. So here, Sojang, I don't exactly know what you are willing to say, but I think that can be your starting point. As listening to a message, whatever happens, that can be a turning point. So whatever happens, it is okay. It is okay. So I say, But about you mentioned about this kind of sharing, because I don't know why I'm sitting here, but I'd like to. I'd like to. There are half and half, but at the last moment, I decide to be here. To be here. It's kind of something I couldn't help. I don't know what is going on and what's going to be, but I need to be here. I need to be here. So anyway, nice to see. I enjoy this this thing itself because we are far from each other, but we are here. That itself is amazing. That itself is amazing. Who connected us? I didn't. You didn't. But we are here. So I thank the connection itself. That's why I'm here, because to feel the connection. Thank you, So Jong-la. Let's have a drink. You can invite the foreign teacher not for dinner, just for drink.
Coffee. Tea.
Coffee the evening? No.
Or maybe tea.
Tea, yeah, tea sounds good. Or you can ask them to do chores together.
Or even take a cooking class together.
Yeah, it never came to me like all of a sudden my teacher at my school who's from South Africa, she suggested like, like why don't we have a like cooking or having dinner together? And I realized like I haven't been really thinking about doing things with them. I was like sitting here fellowshipping and I'm like, I have this love from God and I'm so satisfied with the church life. But I saw myself not really actually doing anything with the teachers at my school. I was not ever involved with any physical, like a gathering or coffee or whatever. No wonder they feel very alienated from me. So I thought like her like remark is like an invitation. Maybe it's like an opening door for me. Feels like I can't do that, right? They would think that I'm trying to pull them over to this cult or something. But if she suggested it, then why not? I'm like, okay, come over. But I'm like, I can't do it myself, right? So I need your help to, put this together and kind of, that's why I mentioned it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, even you didn't so far, you just acknowledged. So this is time.
I think this is,
change.
yeah, I think it is like, I have never felt like I need to like actively share this gospel with them. I did try at one point, like, I'm like, do you want to come over come over to my church? But like actually after the COVID, I was not able to do that. So, and then they all felt like we are so religious, or they thought, or we are cult or something, and they were so afraid of accept me. But like this, maybe she doesn't know about me that well. I don't know, but she was like, why don't we have this, dinner together kind of thing, and we can all be, sharing, and we don't have to work so hard. But I think, like when you are living abroad, it's something like everyday life is what you miss the most. It's like something you can't do it, but like you need it at the same time, but you need someone to do that with you, right? And I'm thinking maybe I'm the person to do that. Maybe I am here to do that. Like if I want to do that, I need your help, right? Because it can't be like I can't do that all by myself. But of course, if they come over, for example, on Tuesday night, I'm gonna be telling them like, I have this Skype meeting. This is what I do every Tuesday, and they'll be here, of course, kind of thing. So I just want to say like We can't be just like always like content with ourselves and say like we're so happy. Like 혜순 언니, 경선이 뭐, Jason, uncle, whoever, they had this really like in the battle kind of thing, in that place, they fought for it and they were there. They're living the moment. Like I don't know, for English group, we always talk about how come we don't have any English members like coming over to our church. But I don't know if we ever have anyone who actually live with them. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know if we actually go shopping with them. What they need is like go shopping with them, or they want, like they want to spend some time on the weekend. I don't know if anyone has ever done that. I think Hesnani, if Reverend Lee said like, let's go to church and pray together, I don't know if she would have said yes to that. I think it's because Reverend Lee was there comforting her the way she is, and he was willing to spend time the way she wanted to, right? So I'm thinking maybe I should do that. But I can't do it myself, right? Because I know I am weak and I am not that faithful, so I might guide them in the wrong way. Who knows? So I'm not very confident myself. So that's why I'm sharing this, and I want all of you to be part of this. Let's live together, like live the moment. Let's not just say like I'm happy. I'm like because nobody interferes us. Nobody interrupts us. Of course I'm happy. Nobody's blocking my way. Well, like when we're actually living the life, when we have someone who wants to be with them, when we have someone who needs us, like go shopping or do something, they don't know how to do that, right? Like when you're in a foreign country, you don't know where to get your daily necessities, right? But we need someone to, be there and be with them the whole time. But I'm thinking, are we doing that? I mean, for me, and I'm not doing that, so it's about me, not about you guys. I mean, okay.
Thank you for saying that.
It's somewhat funny because it's I'm just feel I'm like a Yonah. Do you know the Yonah in the Bible? God wants to
Jonah.
Jonah wants to lead him to go somewhere, but he didn't want to go because he hate the people living there. So God pushed him. God put him into the belly of a whale, and then finally he gave the gospel in that area, and because he doesn't want to the people repent their sins and to be saved. He didn't want to the kind of things happen. Yeah, but finally God, but after all, God made him to go there and forced him to go there, and he had no choice but preach them. Because I said these things, Jonah, because after meeting this church, I became the person who no more evangelize other people because it's so precious, present, so precious things. So if you have a lot of money and a lot of something, then you need to want to share. In my case, I'm not. I don't want to share. Just I want to enjoy myself. Lonely. I found, in my life, I found a very good restaurant. So if I advertise this restaurant is so nice, then when after after that kind of things, I go there, restaurants again, and I found that so many people, there. No more comfort, no more, the place for me to enjoy. So I mean, now, so I somewhat change it. I just want to give this, introduce this church to someone who I nearly wants to live together forever. If the person, because in the church, if he met the church, he meet the church, then I know that I will live together with him forever, with whole my life, because it's connected to the church network, and always I can find his, his news and how he is doing, and so now, it's a church is a kind of very, how can I say, 1 million won, $1 million in my life. So I just to try to find, if I find of someone who nearly, I nearly want to hope to live together with, then I introduce the church to him, and so I'm very moved because Sojong nearly wants to introduce this church to his friend, and so he really wants to live together in this church. I think that it's a very good mind. It's a very good mind, which is given by God. I believe, and so but I say now. So I have a friend who introduced this church to me. No, he always said that he graduate from the church. Because he is not in church anymore. So that's, and he said I'm not out of the church. Just I graduate from church. But it's just funny things that if something very, bad things and crisis happened his life, then he come to the church and meet the, church people to help, and ask, advice from the church members. Because church is very something to, he believed that which helped him so much when he was in the crisis. But now he is not the, not in the crisis. He is having the very stable life. So that's why he is now out of the church. I mean,
He's on vacation.
he's on vacation, and but I'm somewhat funny. So because the church, I nearly hope to, if I meet someone, yeah, well, why I say this, the guy, and he is working together in the hospital together with me, because we are working for the same hospital, and he say someone is in trouble and he is not good relationship with other people as a workers, then he said, why don't you introduce church to him? He asked me, why don't you introduce church to him? He needs church. Oh, he need to church members. And I said, because mostly, the person in trouble, person in difficulties in the workplace, he is somewhat very extraordinary guy. Nobody likes him. If I get along, I try to get along with him, then every people, think I'm also very extraordinary person. So that's why, how can I say, it's kind of devote myself uh, to have good relationship with other people except with him. so so I asked my the brother, my Abraham, why didn't you introduce the church to him? Why me? And I mean, that's why I'm saying the church is a very good place. I don't know why people don't know the real meaning of the church. They think that, they think I introduced this church to him, then they think that I have kind of that, for them, but it's a gift. It's a really nice gift for them. Uh, so I'm very proud of my church, and so precious for me. So I nearly maybe some as a like a Sojong, God changed my mind, and I to evangelize all people who need church in my life, and he will use me to evangelizer to other people. But now just I but now I'm just a person who I nearly wants to live together forever with. Then I introduce this precious church to him very secretly. Yeah, thank you. Oh, now it's 9:30, 9:31, 9:31, and anybody who wants to share the testimony or say something, who wants to talk?
Maybe just a short one from me.
Uh-oh.
I join every Tuesday because if not, I would be out there drinking with a friend. So I'd rather be here than outside drinking, killing my brain cells. Makes me dumb and dumb and groggy tomorrow.
And
So,
every time I come here to meet Mishak and meet David here, and Jubek and Sojong also, but especially Mishak is very far from Korea, and in this place, this is the place I met David, for the first time, but I think that is so precious for me because I can have a chance to meet Misak and David. Even they are very far from live very far from my place. So it is the only place I can meet you all. So it is so precious for me. Thank you to coming this side, this Skype every Tuesday. And
Me
but
too.
I
Not
wonder
just
where Joe
you,
Faulkner.
but me too.
uh
Rajin, me too.
yes.
Everybody, I'm sure Jubek 언니 too, right? Because this is the only place we can meet David and Mishak. I'm sorry for what I've said.
Yeah.
All is well. All is well.
All is well.
I'm
Anyway, what's
wondering where
the
Joe
picture
Faulkner is.
behind you? Oh, sorry, Misha.
Yeah, I'm wondering where Joe Faulkner is.
Ah, right. What is the picture behind you, David? Maximizing human abilities. Is it yours?
Yeah, that's just a flip chart. I used that in some type of presentation at some point, but the organization that I used to work for, that was their vision, maximizing human abilities. And it's just been something that for all of my life, well, most of my life anyway, I've been very interested in helping people develop their potential. You know, mine included, but especially that's one of the drivers in my life. I really get exhilarated when I'm helping someone else learn something that is of benefit to them and helps them realize their potential. So it's a reminder to me. It's part of my life.
You are blessed when you see those kind of things working just in front of you. I can say I have a desire, but I have a desire, that desire, because I am a teacher at teenagers school. Yeah, if you have a chance to see it, you yourself would be very blessed to have that chance. Time to say goodbye. Tired.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye. Good
Yeah,
night.
say goodbye. Good
Thanks for being
night.
here.
Next week.
Bye.
Yeah, next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Romy.
미셸, I think you 뭐야, 미셸이 뭐 얘기하고 싶어 했었는데?
그래? 미샹 얘기하고 싶었어?
미셸 얘기하려고 했었어.
진짜?
에이, 얘기하고 싶다고 했는데, 아이고.
시작을 다시 부르지. 미샹 얘기할 수 있어? 다시 부를 수 있나?
다시 부를까? 네, 불러봐. 왜냐면 미셸이 얘기하고 싶다 그랬거든.
그래? 얘기하고 싶다고? 내 리스닝이야. 내
아니야, 미셸이 하고 싶다 그랬단 말이야. 근데 왜 이렇게 됐지?
그냥 주병인 너가 끝낸다고 해서 그렇게 됐는데,
미셸
미샥 어디?
빨리
미샥,
부를게.
미샥이 어디 있어?
내가 지금 추가했어. 아니, 그러니까 내가 오늘 우리 그 유치원에 마루치라고 지난번에 같이 이렇게 삼순이랑 영도에 갔던 그 남아공 여자 있거든.
네, 괜찮아.
그래서 오늘 나한테 그러는 거야. 상숙이 언니가 그 언니한테 김치를 보내줬는데. 셰?
미샤 왔다. 미샤.
My Skype was ringing, so I answered.
Yeah, the reason we added you because you were going to say something, but we ended our Skype meeting, so I just invited you over so you can talk. Please.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
I'm just wondering where Joe Faulkner is. Did he go back already or not yet?
Joe.
He never responded to my talk, and apparently nobody knows where he is.
I think that Joe is kind of free man.
He's a free, worry-free man.
Free man.
Because, you know, like Maruchi, the one that I was talking about, this woman from South Africa, she said like she met Joe when she was working in Ulsan, and she met him through this language exchange program, and she described him like this, you know, Forrest Gump. You know Forrest Gump? Yeah, she said like Joe is just like Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
He's like
the movie actor. Movie.
Yeah, he gets distracted by everything. If someone stops him in the way, then even when he's on the way to work, he will like, oh, okay, let's go together, and he would just go wherever the other person would lead him. So he said like, she said like he's very different. So I'm thinking maybe he found something that would captivate him more than our Skype. But the problem is like I only have his cutoff, but he never reads my cutoff. So I don't know how to reach him. That's my problem. Okay. Like Misha, you didn't share your testimony, so please do. That's why we
Oh,
invite you again.
I was actually kind of struck with your words saying or asking, why are we here?
Sorry, I'm so
Joining?
sorry.
No,
That was my mistake. We are
no,
here
no,
because
sorry,
of
no,
you
sorry.
and David. Because of you and David. I meant like, why are we here? Meant like, the English Fellowship Group not
I
doing really much about, the foreigners and living in Korea. Because I know like so many Koreans were, they were like called to this church with the death or the sacrifice by the Genesis members of the church and Reverend Lee the most, right? But then when we think about this English fellowship, I'm thinking we don't have anyone who actually stays, for a long time at our English fellowship, right? And I'm thinking maybe it's because we don't have that death or we don't have that sacrifice that needs to, have somebody over. So I actually talk about myself. I even myself didn't even thought about this before. It's actually about me, Michelle. It's not about you or David. So yeah, I felt really embarrassed when Chubek only said like I am here because of Mishak and David. I'm like, oh, oops, I didn't mean that. I just meant like Korean
that is
Peninsula
far
wise.
from your intention.
Yeah, I was talking about Korean Peninsula wise. Like, why don't we have anyone under the English fellowship? That's what I meant.
I think that it's nowadays I reading the books about To Have or To Be by Eric Fromm, or together with Sojung. And in reading these books, I found that what is really important in my life. What is really important in my life? Huh? And how can I say? Is that a few days ago, I am very some quarreled with my wife, and my wife Young said that I don't want to try to do any effort to know you because I cannot understand you. I give up to understanding you. Huh? So that makes me, how can I say, very sad. And I found myself I not the person who tell my inner thought, inner mind to my wife. I'm very not, good at saying my inner feeling, to my wife, because I of so it's a kind of, I think that the life, the truly important things is that understanding, other people's mind. Is very hard. It is nearly hard. I think that is a church is also, we hope to live together in the church. To living together is not the matter of the physical matter. I think that is we it is the, mentally or psychology, something is important. I mean, we need to know each other fully in the church. And I think that it is a gate to be united, firmly in the church. So it is the place, the cross is so important because we can meet each other together. So that's why the place of cross is very important. I think it's the starting point to understand other people, because we are very all different, situation different, position different, nationality different. We cannot understand each other, because everything is different. But that's why Level Need said that emphasize the cross, the place of cross. Meeting there is no nationality, there is no, how can I, wealthy or poor, poverty, or nothing is important there. We are all human beings on that spot. So that's why what is that? We live together. We understand each other fully. And finally, we are become one on that place. On that place, I mean, that is the cross. So that's why.
Okay, Jin, I want to listen to Mishak's testimony. Can I hear from you? Sorry.
Yeah. Mm.
I completely agree with what Drajan said. And there is only one man, one woman, and one God. In my country, I am alone in joining with Daegu Church. Of course, every Sunday I attend my father's church, because otherwise, if I just stay home alone and join Skype with the English group of Daegu Church, then they'll think that I'm strange and I refuse to go in with them and join with them and have and join with my father and my family. So there are times that I always compare the message, most of the time. And we have some newcomers also in my father's church, and they're talking about doctrines and graduating in Bible school, like the ordinary Christian growth, where you finish your Bible school and experience doing ministry and going to places. And whenever they will ask me, or my father, or some leaders would ask me to share a message, what I share on is what we share together, and what I also learn from Gwen's sharing every Monday morning with the old American folks, because it's the message that I find true, and is not confined with doctrines and knowledge, and the approach is different. The approach of Reverend Lee is so different. That's it's all about life and growing and the real deep meaning of Jesus on the cross. It's not about just sin and changing your ways, and not about God always loving humans, as you were explaining earlier, Joajin. You were saying God was always carrying someone on the back and always holding and supporting. It's not about that, but the messages that we share together with what Reverend Lee discovered is so important. It's so true. It harmonizes everything. And still, that's the message that I share whenever I was asked to share about something. Before, I was on the move to present my knowledge and my ability with speaking excellence like that. But I'm not into that anymore. Just on the simple manner of sharing what is true and what God wants of man and with his creation. And I enjoy sharing it with our group, although yeah, it's kind of a little like our members are not so many compared to the ordinary way. But I think that's only what we can do for now. That's what is possible for now.
I think that Mishak you are so precious. Because it is not easy to understand, the Reverend's knee message, because Pastor Lee's message, because how can I say, it's a very it's a kind of very common sense, but nobody understand his saying. Even the foreign people, they are have other culture background, so I think that it's more hard to understand. But Michelle, how can I say, it's a kind of miracle. For Michelle, to say like that, and understand his point, and it's just so, I think that you are so precious. Well, thank you, and I hoping see you soon.
My father is going to another place every Sunday. He travels 6 hours one way, despite his age. His age is 63. And one time he asked me to go there too and share some words. And it was not because I wanted to go there, but it was more on my concern of him, so that he could at least rest for one weekend. And of course, what I shared there is God's dwelling, which is always men. God is focused on men. So that is what I got from Reverend Lee and what we share on. And the people there, they're 6 hours away, deep in the province. They understood something. Oh, so they said, "Oh, I am important with God. My body is important before God." And I said that to them because they love to drink native wine. And I told them, if there's no reason for you to stop drinking, then think of it like you are God's dwelling or God's house. And at least they understood something. So this message is reaching slowly, even in the slow manner. At least it still counts. In that province, 6 hours away from here.
소정 누나, 뭐 하고 있어?
Oh, it's amazing how you carry on God's work, even in the midst of the Philippines, the woods and the rainforest. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here looking at you, thinking, where in the world is this bride of Meshach? Where is this woman who is ready to support him in the kingdom of God? Oh my goodness, that's what I've been thinking the whole time listening to your testimony. So, Meshach, hang in there. I'm sure God has something really great for you. We just need the patience. And I'm just glad that you are always here with us. And thank you, Jajin. Jajin is very open-hearted kind of guy.
Very fertile ground.
Yeah, he's very free-spirited, and he's not like a Korean. He's very like wild, untamed horse. That's why he never listens to his wife, and he just does whatever he wants to do. So, anyways, yeah. Thank you, Mishak, for joining again towards the end of our fellowship, and I'm sure Jajin and I will be there on your wedding day, and so
all of a sudden.
count on us, okay? And I will do my best to embrace all the native teachers, all the English native teachers, and whoever teachers at my school. Up until now, I was like always thinking that my house is too small, and I'm not living in a good house, and I was kind of very embarrassed to share my accommodation with the teachers at our school. But I'm thinking maybe it's time for me to break from that shell and like be open and be just face them, like real human being kind of thing. So yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. Okay.
Yeah. Just
Thank
start
you.
with one. One
Yes.
one foreign teacher is enough.
Yes, Maruchi. Maruchi is the one.
Maruchi, African.
Yes.
South Africa?
South African. Yeah. She's 69 and she
Oh.
has two daughters living in South Africa and she wants to take them over and bring them over to Korea. So we'll see.
I
Okay.
think she wouldn't mind about the accommodation, the size thing.
Yeah.
So you just set those things aside.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. This is
Okay.
mainly
Bye bye.
my homework. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Cheers
Thank
for
you.
now.
Mm.
Okay.